How to count the atoms in a unit cell. Okay, so what you've got to do for this kind of question is realize that an atom, which is roughly spherical, depending on its position in the unit cell, is either going to be 100% within the boundaries of that unit cell or only partially within that unit cell. Okay, so if an atom is completely enclosed within the boundaries of that unit cell, that is what we'd call a body atom, even if it's not exactly in the center. If the entirety of the sphere is contained, then it is entirely within the unit cell. Okay, so it's entirely within the unit cell, so that is going to count one atom per unit cell. Uh, Now, what about the other positions? Well, let's take a face. So if you look at the particular unit cell shown, those black atoms are on a face. Okay, so think about a unit cell. I'm just going to draw in 2 dimensions. Okay, so let's take black. It is that is a square. Oopsie. 1 moment, please. Let me change to a circle. Nice black circle. So if that is within the face, obviously that face can be shared between two adjacent unit cells. So if I rotate this 90 degrees to the right, you can have two unit cells like this, and that face atom would be right in between the boundary. Sorry, it's not perfectly the center between those two unit cells. So when we look on the face between the two unit cells, half of it is in one and half of it is in the other. So what we would call a face atom, only half of it is in one unit cell. The other half is in the neighboring unit cell. Other positions we could have, let's look at an edge. So say where that blue atom is right there. So a blue atom on the edge in 2 dimensions would be shared between two unit cells. So let me just back to the drawing board. So the edge would look like this if we're just looking at a single unit cell, okay? But of course, there is another unit cell right next to it. Where is there we go. Make you purple. So my neighboring unit cell in 2D would be right there. So in 2 dimensions is shared between two. However, this is in 3 dimensions, so that edge will also be shared between another two unit cells above. Okay, so that is going to be shared between 4 unit cells in total. So each edge atom is going to be only 1/4 of it is within the unit cell that is drawn. So you've got to imagine, like, next to this unit cell, there's another one this side, another one this side, above, below, in front, and behind, right? So let me get rid of that so we can actually see. Okay, so the last one then is going to be our corner atom. Okay, so again, let's get rid. So a corner atom, those are drawn in silver, so I guess I'll pick grey if I can, see if that's the closest. I can't get grey. What's close to grey? In terms of theme, let's go brown. If we're thinking close, so a corner atom would be right on the corner of one unit cell. Okay, so you can visualize, if we just look at like a 2D plot, that corner atom in 2 dimensions, I didn't mean to make that brown. I thought I'd change you. In 2 dimensions will be shared between 4 neighboring unit cells. I'll try and make them as square as possible. But of course, in 3 dimensions, there'll be another layer of neighbors above that. So that corner atom will be shared between 8 unit cells. So a corner atom then is going to be only 1/8 within the unit cell in question. So if you want to count out for any particular unit cell how many atoms there are that are within the unit cell, we do need to differentiate based on color, because color is inferring a different element identity. Okay, so for this particular one, I'm going to have a little look. I'm going to pick on those silver atoms first. So silver, we have 8 silver corner atoms. Okay, so 8 times corner atoms. Okay, so what that means, this is for silver, is each one of those, only 1/8 of it is actually within the unit cell. The remaining 7/8 are shared within the other nearest neighbors, right? So 8 corner atoms is going to be 8 times 1/8. So per unit cell, within the bounds of the unit cell, there is 1 silver atom in total. Okay, let's pick another color. So let's go to the black ones. To me, it looks like those black ones are on a face, okay? So we've got 4 of those, 1 on each face, just around the front, back, left and right. We don't have top and bottom facial atoms. So that'd be a total of 4 face atoms, okay? And each one of those face atoms is shared between 2 neighboring unit cells. So that's 4 times 1/2. So there are 2 black atoms per unit cell. All right, and then finally the blue to me look like they are along an edge, okay? And there are 8 of those, 4 around the top edges and 4 around the bottom. So that'd be a total of 8 edge atoms, and an edge atom is going to be shared between 4 neighboring unit cells. So only 1/4 of each edge atom is actually within the unit cell in question. So that's going to be 8 times 1/4, which gives me 2 blue atoms per unit cell. Okay, so hopefully that is helpful. I'm just going to click through and show another to see if we can see an example of a body atom. Okay, so here, for example, that red one is fully within the body. Okay, so for this one, we've got red, which is 1 body atom, and that is 100% within the body of the unit cell. So that's 1 times 1 gives me 1 red atom overall, okay? And that's usually pretty easy to sort of spot because you can see that that red does not go outside the boundaries of the unit cell edge, okay? Whereas you can see with the silver ones and the black ones, they're kind of sticking out beyond that cube shape, okay? So that's kind of your giveaway. So what else we got? We got silver, we've got corner atoms, we've got 8 corner atoms. So that'll be 8 times 1/8. 8 times 1/8. So there's going to be 1 silver atom. And then finally black, we've got faces, okay? So we've got the top and bottom face and the front and back face as it's drawn, so 4 face atoms. Each face is shared between 2 neighboring unit cells, so we've got 4 times 1/2, so a total of 2 black atoms per unit cell. So from this, you can kind of write an empirical formula, if you like, of your formula unit of 1 unit cell.